But for the moment, I'm much more concerned with what he thinks of us. I'm going to leave you in charge of him. But of course, I will require complete reports on everything he does. You understand?
Yes, of course, Your Fortune.
So this is the Savage. Well, come in.
I'm summoned forth.
But you'll get to come and see me, won't you?
Is that allowed?
Oh, yes, that's allowed here. In fact, required. But come along now. You'll have time for that later.
Fare thee well at once. Bernard.
What's going to happen to him?
As a matter of fact, I've just been given full responsibility over him by his lordship personally. I've been instructed to show him everything and to report back directly.
Oh. Well, that won't leave much time for engaging, will it?
I'm afraid I'm going to be rather busy.
I meant John.
Perhaps I can work something out for you.
Well, and what shall we call you?
My name is John.
But your last name, I mean. Why not Savage? Mr. John Savage, how does that strike you for a name?
It boots not. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet.
A rose? Oh, yes, of course.
You do not have roses here, do you?
Oh, I'm sure we do. In one of our nature nausea classes or museums.
But don't people wish to see flowers growing?
They did once. But we found that flowers are counterproductive. The time that could have been spent producing or consuming was wasted idly looking at flowers.
I'm afraid I do not understand.
Well, of course you don't. Yet. But you will. That is, if you stay with us.
You're not going to send me back?
No. No. Well, only if you wish. You see, Mr. Savage, here in our world, you may do anything you wish, be anything you wish, have anything you wish. Yes, and have anyone you wish.
Linda? Linda?
No, Mr. Savage, you mustn't disturb her. She's having her joy hour.
How do I know she's all right?
You can see for yourself. Just look at her.
If she is happy, then beasts that reason not and lack all discourse are happy. Linda? Linda?
Go away.
But it's John, your son.
Go away. Soma! 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 Now see what you've done? You've completely thrown her off her Soma schedule.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
That is all, Nanny Nurse. I'm Phillips Park Ludens, the chief dispenser. What is it, Mr. Savage?
Linda, I want to have her with me.
Quite out of the question.
But she belongs with me. She's my mother.
I will not tolerate that sort of dirty language in my dispensary, Mr. Savage. And if you plan to say any more filthy things like that, I'll simply have to ask you to leave immediately. This way, please.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. But I do want to have her with me.
I don't think you understand, Mr. Savage. Here we have her on a strict Soma schedule. 2 happiness hours and 1 full joy hour a day. Without proper dispensary supervision, she would immediately Soma coma.
And if she didn't get any Soma?
Then she would, of course, scream incessantly. Is that what you want?
Oh, no. But this Soma, aren't you actually shortening her life by giving her so much?
In one sense, yes. But in another, we're actually lengthening it. A megasoma coma is a bit of what the ancients used to call eternity.
Eternity? Eternity was in our lips and eyes. You mean that?
Not exactly. In any case, Mr. Savage, you can be sure we'll do everything possible for her here. Although, of course, nothing can save her.
You don't mean she's dying now?
No, not now. But of course, sooner or later, the megasomadosis will lead to paralysis of the respiratory sector. Her breathing will then cease, and she will die of terminal bliss.
I want to be with her. How soon will it happen?
It's difficult to say, especially in her case. The first sign is usually a brief reality relapse. Of course, you wouldn't want to see her then.
But I would.
Very well, Mr. Savage. I'll see that you're contacted.
To His Fordship, Mustafa Mond, Western World Controller, from Bernard Marx. Subject, John Savage. I first took the Savage to the great cathedral of our Ford. He was obviously inspired by the deep synthetic reverence of the worshippers, and I believe I was able to explain to him the rudiments of surrogate spirituality and placidic belief. John's tour of a senior kindergarten conditioning school was, under my close guidance, a complete success. Naturally, I couldn't explain all the educational intricacies such as advanced play math to him, but I believe that with my further help, he may well be able to grasp some of the simpler things such as nature, nausea, reinforcement conditioning.
No, why?
While the Savage was obviously charmed by the primary erotic play class, it did seem to raise a question in his mind. He asked again where without mothers, where the children came from.
Now, Mr. Savage, I think you'll find this very interesting. After the embryos are bagged, they come along here for initial model selection. At the moment, we're turning out redesigned deltas.
Oh, Juliet, move not. And on thy sweet lips would my soul be purged.
Mr. Savage, come along. I want to show you our all-new and fully improved Bakanowski embryomatic separator. One epsilon unit goes in, and out comes 60 reproductions, absolutely identical to the original in every production detail. Come along.
Did you sprinkle on additives or mix them in?
I'm sorry, please, no more questions. We must keep on schedule.
Are you engaging anyone tonight?
Perhaps I'll give you a telecall. Thank you. John, hurry, we'll be late for the Ford State Synthesis service.
What are they doing?
These are the Delta workers receiving the daily ration of Soma.
Like Linda.
Yes, not as much, but the same thing.
Why?
Why?
You said they were happy.
Well, of course they're happy. Everyone's happy.
Then why do they take the Soma?
Because it's prescribed. 3 after work and 6 on the Ford State.
Why, Bernard?
John, really, you must stop using that word.
Hold it! Over here, Mr. Savage. That's enough. We have to go on with our tour for Mr. Savage. No more pictures.
But we need a statement from him for the Daily Times. Say one of your funny things, Mr. Savage.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and nobles to behold the swelling scene.
It's wonderful. That's just perfect.
Should I go on?
Say something more, anything at all.
That's all. I'm sorry. We must go on with our tour. Now, you can all interview Mr. Savage later on. Right this way, Mr. Savage. I hope that none of that upset him. I mean, I do hope that you won't put anything unfavorable about our operation here in your report.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You can count on me to leave out any minor matters as long as we understand each other.
Oh, we do. We do, Mr. Marx, I assure you. Careful, Mr. Savage, not too close. What is this? Those are heliofusion tubes. You see, we take helium energy from the sun. The sun, up there, hot, hot. Then we pipe it thousands and thousands of feet down there, underground, where it's turned into nuclear fusion energy. Bubble, bubble, fizz, fizz. Then back up comes fusion energy through those tubes. It's really quite simple. Approach, thou beacon to this underglow. And thou, oh, shaking thunder, strike flat the thick rotundity of the world. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. You will put that in your report, won't you? I mean that I explained everything to him.